Hey everyone, Sean Corbett, TruWest Realty Group. This is our weekly meeting, November 15th. We've got a few things I want to cover today. If it's okay, I'm going to start it off with Nikki. It sounds like Nikki's got a daughter that's already got the ear infection or something going on, so she's going to be heading to urgent care. I've got a couple of topics I've asked her to kind of give us some insight on. She does a lot of training and coaching with her group, and the one today is follow-up. And I love that topic. I have a lot to say about it. I'm sure Nikki does as well. I think most of us have a one and done, and we lose the opportunity to connect with clients or even other agents if that's part of your business model. And I asked her if she could talk a little bit about that and what her feedback and what's worked for her. So Nikki, you want to share that? That'd be awesome.
So ever since I was with KW, the saying's always been the future's in your follow-up. So without follow-up, you kind of lose your business aspect of it. So even like whenever I was doing cold calling, I would follow my 10-day conversion plan. And with a 10-day conversion plan, I think there's like a total of 32 touches. So, and it's easy to stop doing your follow-ups because after so many times of not getting responses, it's like, okay, well, they're not interested. So, but even with that, I still follow it to a T even till today. And I give it out to my the new agents, my mentees, as a follow-up. So they know what to do when they have a lead or referral or a cold call or they're door knocking or whatever process you're using. Also with open houses, that's a big one because new agents feel, and just take what I say with a grain of salt, they show up to open house and they expect a gold star, and that's not what it is. It's an opportunity to get more buyers, an opportunity to meet an unrepresented buyer, an opportunity to work with future clients. So with open house, I coach them up on after open house, give it a day, like the rest of that day, the next day, follow up with a phone call, a text, and continue to follow up until they say, okay, I'm ready, or they give you a timeline, or they say, leave me alone. So I'm one of those pessimistic agents that will follow up and follow up and follow up and follow up until they tell me, stop bothering me. Same thing goes with agents. Like whenever I submit offers for my buyers, I follow up. Did you get my offer? They don't respond a couple hours later. It's just continuous follow up. And unfortunately, I've run into those agents where they just won't respond, especially on the buyer, like when I'm on the buyer side, the listing agent just won't respond. And I've actually had to call the broker and inform them and get them involved, because it's fine if you're under contract, but I don't know to stop calling you if I don't know that it's under contract or if you have an offer or whatever the case is. But the follow-up process is very crucial to our business, because if you're not following up, then that opens the door for opportunity for those clients to find somebody else. If you don't stay in front of them, they're going to find somebody else or recommend somebody else. So follow-up is, in my opinion, is just as crucial as going out and cold calling or door knocking. It's, if not more important, it's just as important.
Yeah, I think I've had it where I follow up during the actual, once we're even under contract. You think, well, okay, good, I don't need to talk with them every day anymore, but there's still time commitment issues that are still part of the contract. I've had them where they don't even respond when we're running out of time on things, right? Like, I like to dialogue when we're going through repairs and things like that. I don't want to drop a list that I know that they're going to immediately reject. I need to talk through it with them. And if I can't have that conversation, then I end up saying, okay, well, here it is. And then all of a sudden now it's an emergency. I don't like coming up to the last minute on anything. I think most of you, if you've done this long enough, most of you are running around, in an emergency mode at the very end. 5 o'clock's coming, we don't have anything signed. Don't operate like that. Be ahead of it. expect that it will end that way if you don't resolve some things. And I have to have certain language to get my barometer to a point where I know that it's workable now, and I think that's real important. I have a kind of a philosophy that follow up until they tap out. I stole that from, some agents that worked with me in the past, and they basically would just keep calling until they tell them, hey, I'm not interested in real estate. I've got somebody else I'm working with, something that has a reason for you not to continue to call and bother them as if that's the way it is. But it's frustrating when it's just ghosts, right? Nobody says anything. Really, really hard to know or gauge what am I getting involved in? Are they going to respond? So I love all that's very, very critical. And I think, Nikki, you probably have something that I know I do. There's something in the back of your mind, you just can't let it go until it's resolved. Yeah, and I know what it is, right? So I have this with everyone. If I've got an offer outstanding, either off market or on market, or talking to an agent about coming over, until I have some type of resolution, I can't seem to stop thinking about it. I know not everyone is that way. I wake up in the morning and I'm already hitting it that first thing in the next morning, okay, I don't have any resolution here. I need to go ahead and send out my text. That way I have the initial start for the day. And then at some point in the next couple of hours, we need to have some type of resolution. I know not everyone's that way. So you have to make it a part of your process and what you do. Any other things you want to share, Nikki, on the follow-up system, or why it's just critically important?
It's not just clients, and it's not just other agents. It's everything. I had a conference with a new lender, and he's trying to get on my preferred list. And if I say that I'm going to follow up with something, make sure to follow up. Don't make empty promises. Don't overpromise and underdeliver, because that sets a bad reputation for yourself. Also with title companies, I've had to get involved with title companies when we're having issues to close. I have issues with lenders. I've been on the listing side, and the buyer can't retain their financing. So I, as the listing agent, had to contact the buyer's lender to protect my client's interest in closing the deal. So it's not just other agents or colleagues or your clients or potential clients. It's everything. It's lenders, title companies, home inspectors, appraisers, everybody. It's that follow-up is so important to make sure that you have a successful transaction, that you basically retain your business and get more business to where you still continue to be afloat, and just continue to serve your clients the best to your possibility, in your ability, not possibility, ability. So a lot of it is critical thinking and thinking outside the box. Okay, well, this person's not answering. What do I do next? And I'll continue climbing up the chain until I get my answer. So yeah, and when it's a matter of there's been instances where the agent is actually the broker, and I've had to reach out to other agents within that brokerage and say, hey, I'm trying to reach your broker. And after bugging 3 or 4 of them, the broker's going to call you back. So you just have to think outside the box and think, okay, how can I get to where I need to be with this transaction if they're not picking up the phone?
Awesome. I love it. And I've had that where the broker is actually I had one broker, he was ignoring me, and they would not respond on behalf of this client. I ended up having to go through TREC in order to get the item, in order to get it resolved. It's frustrating. I mean, there's no reason to ever have to do that. This is a real easy opportunity. We can all talk, we can all have a conversation. And I know I've coached this over and over again. Anytime we can get off text and have a phone conversation, generally you have a better success of getting your message across without, I'm going to read text in a very negative way. I think most of us do, because I can't read tone. I don't know what your tone really is. You're just giving me facts and trying to be objective, and you eliminate the opportunity for me to be able to interpret it any other way. But I do think that there's tremendous value in following up with anything and everything. And I like You said, do what you say you're going to do. It's impossible to chase a bouncing ball when they say they're going to do something and they don't. Then we can't have any type of continuity, and it's a lot harder to work where everybody's going to be happy. And I've got a transaction right now. It's just been nothing but inconsistency. I can't get them to move forward with information, so I'm holding back on giving extensions until I get some type of proof that we can move forward. So I leverage the closing against the buyer for that purpose. And there's times I may do that, and I put all the pressure on the agent to get the lender to perform. Unfortunately, lenders can't always close on time, I know, but the lender can at least pick up the phone at least once, right? Not 2 o'clock the day before closing, and we haven't heard anything from them. I still go through those things, and I'm ahead of it in a lot of them. I can't, we can't control everything on the other side, but there are plenty of warning signs that we see. And if I don't get certain things achieved or taken care of, then I'm going to assume we're moving forward to closing. Don't call me the day before and say, oh, well, we got another 48-hour audit because we're a broker. So I don't care what you are. I mean, you're not communicating any of this. I know brokers have different ways of doing things, but if I'm going to do everything on our side to get us to closing, then I hope to have some type of reciprocity on your side. Any feedback from you guys on follow-up and the importance of it? Any comments or anything like that? You see the value of it?
Just to add to your point, I've threatened agents. I'm like, look, if you don't call me and start talking to me and communicating, I will file a complaint against your license with truck. And when you say that, they pick up the phone pretty quickly.
I never understand that. I know I have a tone that's pretty harsh about, the way I talk, but man, I'm easy as all get out. We get a deal and we want to work together. But man, you put your head in the sand and don't talk. It's going to be a very difficult transaction. I can promise you, because I know the rules. I know what I can do, what I can get away with to make it work for my client. And I will make you look stupid. I hate that. But it's real easy. If you follow the rules and do it the right way, you can make the other party look really dumb and put all the pressure on that agent individually if they don't perform. But it's part of the way it works, man. Step up and do what you're supposed to do. So we did the meeting before mine. I usually sometimes will watch it and see if there's anything that would add value, and if it does, then I'll go over and kind of talk about some of the high level things that they were talking about. And then some of my training stuff, I'll just push to the next cycle. There was a girl on today. Her name is Haley Booth. She's got millions in TikTok and Instagram followers. She's hit pretty big. And her only purpose, and I asked her at the end, it's like, what's the point of having millions of these type of followers if you're not, with your exit strategy, not like creating some type of sellable content online? And she doesn't have any sellable content. And she did mention that there are some perks and benefits getting that much attraction, because you can start selling certain things and start monetizing it. But her purpose was just to stay top of mind in front of all of her clients and people. And I think for all of us, I think that's a good place to start. I'm going to go over some of this. I know a lot of you probably heard or seen a lot of it, but there's some continuity and some ways that she said it that makes it a little bit more tangible. One of the things is she says you always want to be relatable and someone they can trust, not a salesperson. And I can relate to a lot of the video content I'm putting out. I think about, you want it to come across, like you're on top of your game, you've got everything set, you've got the answers. And the reality is people respond better to organic and relatable content in people than the people that have it straight and under control. And I was thinking of some of the people that I watch on my podcast, and they are, got all the answers. They seem polished, they seem clean, but I don't know if I would want to work with them because they don't have a lot of fractures and weaknesses that get exposed because they're good at what they're doing. It's great to be organic. I think there's a lot of value in that, and they need someone they can trust, right? They're looking for someone that you're going to say what you believe and you can follow through with it. And it's not something that you're just saying because someone else told you to say it. Her post cycle, and she says, is 3 personal, 1 business per cycle. And I asked her about what's a cycle. Is that a week? Is that 2 weeks? And she says it's it's whatever it is. If it's every 5 days, then it's every 5 days. Just be consistent with it. So she says 3 personal, and then one business post, or for our case, a real estate related post. And that is a good kind of like ongoing formula that says that I'm here, kind of an entertaining value, but I'm going to be top of mind. And you know what I do for a living, because every periodically you'll see something directly related to real estate. But for the other part, I actually have content you want to see. Some people get tired of every time that person comes up in my feed, they want to sell me something or talk to me about what they do for a living. And that's good if you do it in bite-sized pieces, but don't overplay it, and they'll just start skipping you. Engage with the audience in Facebook stories and Instagram. Stories is a really important component. I think I see a lot of you that are posting stories and things that are happening. I think that's great. And this is one of those times you can say, would you live here? Or what color should we paint this house? What area would you prefer to retire in? Things that create some type of engagement, and ask them questions for them to respond to. I think there's definitely an opportunity for engaging the audience will absolutely boost your connection rate and what Facebook sees as your value to the audience in general. I get those posts because I'm connected to a lot of real estate agents, especially on LinkedIn and other places. So I get to see them all the time. And you can tell the ones that are going to can connect well, and the ones that are just talking about themselves and they're not really adding value to the end user. So always kind of be thinking about, if you were the end user, what would you appreciate kind of interacting or being a part of? Add comment boxes. And she said stickers. It's another thing that it's a tool that you can use to create more interaction on your stories. Polls. Would you vote for this person? That's a fun one, right? We always like to do politics. Or would you rather have this team or that team, or something like that. And then scale your stories to boost your page to the top of other people's fields. Every time you do these type of things, it increases your opportunity to be shared at the top. And then you guys probably know this by now. If you want to be in social media and you're not posting video related content, it's a big setback for you and your business. I mean, you can only grow and build it so big. It's almost to the point that you have a website so people can believe you're a real business, and that's as far as you move forward, right? Same thing with the business page on your Facebook. If you create the business page, great start, but it's not going to create an audience or grow if you don't have content that people are going to connect and relate with. And I use this company, and it probably helped grow my Facebook a little bit over time. I mean, it's been 2 years, right? So it's posting these short little video clips. How much do you need as a down payment on the house? Should you get an inspection? Just fun little things, just to create some type of ongoing connection. And it probably added, 5% a month or something. It wasn't anything that was going to grow. And I finally got off of that, and I started focusing on organic content. And the way you do it is through video. It's a game changer in social media. Pre-recorded is better than no video content. You don't have to always do live video feeds, at the open house, or, I'm at wherever you're at. I'm not as big on the live things because I've gotten pretty comfortable with the recorded thing. But it's better than no content for sure. And people, in general, they feel like, and I know you know this when you think about this, but people feel like they know celebrities because they see them all the time on TV. That's not, they don't really know them, but they feel like they do. And that's the kind of comfort you want to have with people that see you posting and engaging and doing what you do. Tell stories based on real life experiences. Do a Q&A session. That's another great interactive opportunity, to be able to connect with. Make funny and educating content. All right, 1 second. Sorry, I had somebody come by the office. I always think doing funny and educating content is an easy thing to build from. You can post something you've read out or seen or done a video for that related and connected with you. It's fun to go ahead and repost. All right, any questions on doing this? Everybody gonna have millions of TikTok viewers and create all this new Facebook, YouTube live stuff. What are you doing, Joey? Are you gonna do some video content for us? What do you think, man?
I do have a question.
Go ahead.
What's your position or what are your thoughts about controversial subjects?
I like it. And I'll tell you what it does. It creates incredibly fast clickbait.
Oh, yeah.
It does. And what happens, so it's a good and bad, right? So it can create a shallow following, meaning I have lots of people that get, energized about whatever that topic is. I mean, it can be, political stuff. It could be sport teams. It could be um, abortion, trans rights, all kinds of the crazy stuff going on right now. And honestly, I've been doing these podcasts with different people and we'll talk about hot topics. I did one for about 10 minutes at the end of one of my podcasts. I was talking about my view and how I see abortion and how it affects our society. I mean, I went through and started talking through it because I've thought a lot about it. My thinking is if you're organic with who you are, you're not going to have everyone agree with you, and that's okay. There's a good and bad to it. There's a good that says that the way I see it and understand it, if I have a significant interest and I care about it, then people will relate to that, and it'll build a stronger relationship that way. And it'll also maybe objectify and kind of clear out, say, hey, I'm being logical about it. It's not just because someone else told me to think this way. And they may respect the view and they may not agree with the view, and that's fine too. And then you're going to have that third group that just has to politicize everything and make it, I don't care what you say. If you believe this, I'm not talking to you, right? I mean, you're going to have that. There is the chance that could be a part of it. I think organic trumps, not to use that name in a funny way, but I think organic comes off more sincere and more relatable, that it overcomes a lot of that people that don't agree with you. I don't have a problem talking about them, and I have. And I don't do it for clickbait personally, but it sure is kind of fun. What it does is it lets people in. I'm not just a stoic real estate agent that has answers in real estate, and I have no opinion outside of that. It makes it so you can have a relatable type of experience engaging and sharing and being honest about it. I think that makes for a whole lot more power in it. Unfortunately, what happens is we drill things down to these reels and 1 minute clips. And then, I'll get asked a question and then I'll go in and I'll give an answer to it in a very concise way. And it looks clean and polished and it works well. And I like it. I mean, it works, but they have the opportunity now to get me know me better by engaging and watching full podcasts or things like that I create. That's where I'm at. I don't have a problem with it. I wouldn't build. It'd be real difficult to build a real estate Facebook generating lead opportunity on hot topics always. I think you need to be addressing real estate stuff. And I think your Facebook page should be addressing real estate stuff. If you have a YouTube channel and you have a space for outside of real estate, great. But I don't think it's going to help you in building your business. I know it's a lot of information. I've kind of thought through it. James, I know you do a lot of this content. Do you talk about hot topics like that, or do you stay away from all those things?
I think it's a double-edged sword, man. Because there's people that it's like the Kyrie Irving thing, right? Like, the guy put a screenshot of something up, everybody wants to criticize him, and then next thing you know, Amazon is still having the video up, the movie up. So it's a double-edged sword. People go after who they choose to. Although I have my personal views on certain things, I try and look at it from different people's perspective also, because I don't give a damn if you like, the left or the right. Are you a good person or not? Do you have good character? I mean, that's how I look at it. And also, what are your beliefs in, what I would feel is somebody that should be within my circle that I can learn from. So that's why I try and look at it like that. But also in my experience with radio, I was always taught to, look at it and hear different other people's thoughts, not necessarily giving your own opinion, because, you know, this is a business, and no matter what people see or think, you know, we're all in this to make money. So I could have a client right now and I can say one thing that they may not agree with, and then they can say to hell with you and go somewhere else. So that's why I always like to keep my personal opinions to myself and have conversations with people that I trust. But I do like to get thoughts and opinions on, for instance, you know, why do people feel like, you know, this abortion thing is real, or, you know, should it be banned or not? You know, like get personal experiences like that, because I think that's more helpful than looking at it like, you know, this or that. So that's my 2 cents on it. But even when it comes down to race, I've always, you know, again, I've looked at it from a different perspective too, because it's all about vulnerability, right? And so even whenever I moved to Louisiana, I can vividly remember pulling up to our house and a cross burned in our yard, lit on fire, a 12-foot cross burned in our yard. So, you know, those are things that I kind of look at and get other people's thoughts, because everybody likes to make it about black this, black that, white this, white that. And I mean, you know, that's the world that we live in, you know?
Well, it sells.
Yeah, it does.
Unfortunately, you know, racism, whether it exists or not, it definitely sells. And it does exist, but I mean, you know what I mean? It's a hot topic. We haven't really gone there, but I've talked about abortion, I've talked about trans, I've talked about guys competing in women's sports. You know, I've gone there, and I know that it will create some polarization and some things. I feel like if I'm honest about what I am and how I feel about it, I think it's going to resonate, good or bad, with people. And honestly, you know, she was talking earlier, because she gets millions in her TikTok and Instagram followers. You're going to get a lot of hate in there too. And, you know, she just blocks them. And I think I haven't gotten anywhere near that big. And I think at some point it will take off on some topic. And I don't know what it's going to be, but eventually whatever I'm building now is going to take off. And I don't know if I have an issue with negative. You know, I think it kind of like the Jerry Jones approach, right? Good or bad press, it's all press. Keep talking. You know, I kind of feel like that might not be a bad way to look at it. You know, I've got thick skin on this stuff too. I mean, you know, they're attacking an issue, they're not attacking me. You know, so anyway, I love that. I love that you're willing to go there, but with people individually, probably not on a platform or anything. Is that kind of the general consensus, James?
No, I'm never scared to go onto a platform and speak my piece. I think it's just a way of how you approach it, and who you're dealing with. Because I've been in situations where I have been, you know, in particular situations to where I've been caught off guard, or, you know, somebody asked me, oh, how do you feel about trans, or how do you feel about gay people, or, you know, like, I don't care what you decide to be. Like, I mean, are you gonna buy a house? Are you cool? Or like, are you a dope person? That's what it comes down to, because this is a business. But at the end of the day, like, whenever I look at it, like, I can't have any ill will against someone that decides that they want to be gay, because I've had a sister that was gay. So, and no matter what she chose to do, I'm still going to love her for who she is. But although that's not my cup of tea, you know, I don't get down like that. But, you know, I have to, you know, that's your decision on what you decide that you want to do.
Sure. Thank you for that. Anyone else have feedback or anything on hot topics, talking about them, doing a video on them? What do you got, Maddie?
I agree with what James says, because I mean, there are many topics that I could talk about with clients, and if I don't know them, they may take it the wrong way. And now I would feel perfectly fine stepping into a platform. Like if someone invited me to as an example, a podcast, I would feel perfectly fine in voicing my opinions based on what I know and what I think is the truth. I mean, there are many we could go on about, especially what's happening in our society. But on the real estate side, it is a business. I believe in keeping it business only. If someone asks me, are you Republican or Democrat? I'm going to tell them I'm a Republican. But at the same time, I don't believe in the two-party system. And when you say things like that, you keep things open. And then they're like, this guy's on to something. So you don't have a negative approach on, or a negative vibe with whoever you're talking to, because obviously I have different ideas on how society or American society is run. I don't believe in a two-party system. I believe there should be a third party. And I don't want to even go into the political thing, but now I'm talking too much. But as James said, I believe in keeping it business.
To add on what Manny said too, it's real estate. Yes, we all are in this as a business, and I agree with what he said, but at a certain extent, I have my own differences with that. And I mean, Sean, you and I, we've talked briefly about that, but I personally believe that the NAR is the worst group of people that I've ever had to encounter. I think that they're terrible, they're stuck in their ways, and they want to sweep a lot of things under the rug. And that's just the actual facts that I do have on hand. Even whenever it comes to brokers in Louisiana, and I'm sure in other states too. Real estate is fixed up to where it can protect who it chooses to protect, and it allows them to do illegal things and get swept under the rug. They put people in these positions in regards to, especially with Baton Rouge, they put people in positions that are not licensed, so they can't be held accountable for any code of ethics. So it's a loophole. And whenever you try and go after them, they don't like that. And then they try and, it's the same like terminology as when people like athletes, like shut up and sell, or shut up and dribble. That's how I personally feel. And that's not making it a black or a white thing or anything like that. I think that there's people in positions that do not deserve to be in those positions, where even at the highest level, because when we go through issues, when we have problems, there's nowhere that we can turn to. They try and make this, oh, is this a real estate solution matter or anything like that? And I've seen with my own two eyes where things can be criminal and real estate related all in one, and they try and sweep everything under the rug. And, at a later time, like I will be more than happy to, share that, what I am speaking on, because I've talked to you, Sean, briefly about it. But it opens your eyes to see, what people's, characters are at the highest level.
Well, then we just need to stop selling real estate in Louisiana, right?
No, it's not even about stop selling real estate in Louisiana. I think that this is, there's matters that happen all over this country, I believe, with realtors, and people are scared to speak up, or they just choose not to because they feel like nothing will get done. But then even whenever you get to a point to where you do get the courage to speak on whatever it is that you're dealing with, they still don't want to do anything. And that's what it comes down to, in my opinion. And, I say in my opinion quite a bit now, because if you just say, whatever, if you're saying something direct, some people feel offended by that, in my experience. So yeah, there's just that. But yes, I agree with you. Louisiana is a shitty state. But sorry, excuse my French.
They speak French in Louisiana still, don't they?
Yeah, French, Cajun, all the above.
Yeah.
Well, I think you have to have a passport to go there now. So
I don't know. I don't know what James went through in Louisiana, but just the fact that he said, the cross burning incident. I mean, you know, that has a lot to say, because that's an event that can affect somebody psychologically. So,
Well, leads me into another option. We tell stories based on real life experiences. That's actually another way to build connection with audience, right? This is what I went through. This is my experience. This is what I felt. And that is an easy way to make a connection with the audience. And doing it, knowing that you're going to be driving off road a bit, just keep in mind, we need to get back on the road at some point, right? So we got to
no,
make those connections. But, you know, at the end of the day, we've got to remember, I mean, James said it, like, this is a business. This isn't a charity work. We're spending a lot of time and energy, you know, building our craft and being good at it. And being relatable is a good thing to have, but being successful in getting us from start to finish on our transactions, I think, should be pivotal if we want to build a business and actually grow a business.
what you just said made a lot of sense, Sean, because I apply it to the business. What you said, being relatable. When you say being relatable, it reminds me of how I approach many people, especially when they're in the house buying process and they're still fairly new. Even if they've done it before, there's you when you catch your client in a vulnerable situation, that's when I tell them my stories that I have from the past, especially when we were displaced, when we were flooded in Katy, how we went through a strainer to get a BA loan, how FEMA money was running out for us, and we were in a nasty place in Richardson where prostitutes and drug addicts were walking the premises. All those things, that is something that I went through not that long ago before I had to buy my house. So when you say things like this to people, they tend to say, hey, this guy really went through some stuff, and it's kind of a bit more harsh than what I'm going through. And it kind of makes things a little bit more easy when you relate to your client with what you have been through. And
Absolutely.
that's my input.
All right, last couple of things on doing this. If you're going to create videos, making part of your marketing, you got to post consistently, right? I mean, for those that create some good content and then they wait a month and then create like 5 more in a row, it's impossible for Facebook to follow the algorithm to generate some type of ongoing traction. You got to have consistent posts. And you can, if for topics, I can give you several examples. The one that they threw in there is Pinterest has great content options that you can jump in and find some quick topics. You can do, what is it, like the website that you can go and look up questions, like the number 1 questions asked, specifically take that and then go find ones on real estate. That's where I'm drawing my 1-minute videos. Like I said, is buying a home a good investment, right? I drew that from those questions. So then I talk for 30 seconds, a minute on why buying a home is a good investment, even in a declining real estate market, and I talk about that. And then that's easy feed, and consistently posting will create, continuous traffic. You can Google Trends. Google Trends is a place to go for fresh topics. You can see what the hottest things going right now. Those are easy ways to pull from places. If you want to go out of bounds a little bit and talk about some topics that are going on, just be comfortable doing it. It's not for everyone. I know not everyone's comfortable talking about those type of things and getting on and just, throw your camera on your computer and just start talking about something for a couple of minutes, post it. It can be a little scary to be putting that out there when you're new to all of this, but building ongoing traffic and being consistent will make significant difference in the future. Expect to have very little traffic in the beginning. It takes time in order to build ongoing, followers and things like that. So that was all I had for what Haley shared. I thought she had a lot of good topics. She certainly has proven a track record of success. So she had a lot of really good things to share. Any questions on posting on any of these things? YouTube, Instagram, I'm not even talking specifically how to set it up, but this is kind of the high level talking points. And if any of you have interest in finding out how to kind of get started and be a part of it, just text me, or call me. You guys know y'all can call me anytime. Any last minute questions or comments on the social media posts?
And
Yes,
a
Vicky.
lot of people that I've talked to just from day to day, they're, we get into deep conversations and, we go down that wormhole of a bunch of different topics. And a lot of people have said, oh, you need to make a YouTube channel. I find it really hard to just talk. I need that feedback. So how do you work through that?
You have a hard time talking?
No, but
Maybe I misunderstood what you said.
I just need in order to go from topic to topic, I need feedback.
All right, I'll answer that. I'll give you this quickest, easiest answer to that, right? You jump on someone's podcast. That's the easiest way to do it. And then you create this ongoing dialogue where and then you can pull up Google Trends or topics or things like that and just start talking about it. You might do this for an hour, right? And you talk, and you may only get about 15, 20 minutes of really good content. So it's important. Yeah. It's really important to, have something that's interactive and engaging, and you may only do a short amount of time through it, where you just kind of go through it, and the overall amount of your really good quality content may only be 15 minutes out of an hour. And then at the end, the last part of it, I try to come up with some specific real estate topics. These posts that I'm doing, those are great places to start from. Have whoever you're talking with, ask them, say, is this even a good time to buy? Right? That's an engaging question. And people are going to be like, well, what do you think? What do you got to share? And all of a sudden it starts creating this level of expertise, like you're relatable and you're in the market and you're experiencing it. And you have good ways to be able to connect with them.
It lets you do what everyone else does and just repeat everything.
All right, well, we're running out of time. We got 11 minutes left. Weston, I'm going to have him. Let me see real quick. Oh, how'd you do West? Oh, did you log in under use on my? Okay, he's on my laptop.
It lets you change it.
Gotcha. All right, so I made you co-host. If you can share the video, I'm going to play a couple quick videos that I created. This is just examples. You can go to share screen. And then when you share it, you need to turn on audio. All right, the very top, click share audio. You see what I'm saying? View options, it'll say share audio.
Share computer sound. Oh no. It needs your password.
Oh, I do, because you have to, okay. All right, we'll just exit out. I'll play it next week. It's gonna be too hard to kind of work through that. Can you go ahead and mute it again?
Yeah.
All right, sorry about that. I gotta get the links and I'll set it up. I'll play it on my computer next time.
Hey, before we cut it off, Sean, did you talk about that get together with the white elephant and all that?
Oh, I haven't. No. Yeah, no, we're not exiting yet, but I didn't even put it on here yet. I'll put a note right now because I want to talk about that too. I forget all the stuff I have going on.
Okay, hey, I'm here to remind you.
Let's see if I can pop.
Thank you, Manny.
Here, I figured it out.
Hey, Tammy, I really like the stuff you're doing on Instagram and Facebook with your videos. Looks real good.
Thank you. Thank you for that.
Yeah, I've told her the same. She's doing great on kind of coming up with content. All right.
This is your 1 minute real estate tip. One thing that I would suggest is that you consider rent value when buying a home for personal use. 98% of people who buy their first home will move. Most people don't buy a house and live there forever. So having an exit strategy is imperative whenever you're in the buy process. Last thing is I always suggest that you retain real estate anytime you can and don't sell it. The more real estate you can accumulate, the more net worth you become. And it just makes things a whole lot easier for when you have economies like this. Take it from me personally. I appreciate it. Till the next tip. Thanks. Hey, it's Sean Corbett with
Just plays a cycle. So anyway, that's the tip. Very straightforward, simple. The content is consider rent value when buying a home for personal use. That's not something that people do. Okay, you don't normally think about it, but you should always have an exit strategy. And I have this conversation with my buyers every time. The exit strategy could be, hey, let's find you something 3 to 5 years. Or, hey, let's find you something that we know doesn't have the pool today, but it's going to grow roughly 5 to 10%, depending on when I'm talking to them in the market. So we're going to have some appreciable value so that the time when it comes, we now have equitable position. We can go, and if we have to sell to buy, we can. But you can also objectively, the best thing to do is to be able to hold retain rent and then cash out refi and buy the next home with the pool. And I have these exit strategies every time I'm talking to them. Has anyone ever thought about considering rent value when buying the home or educating their buyers in that regard? Any of you ever made that a part of your process? Well, good. That's something new for you to think about. It's an exit strategy, right? So we want to know, it makes you, I tell you what, if nothing else, when I'm talking with people, it builds instant credibility. I have their interest in mind. I'm thinking about things that they are not thinking about. These type of things is how you build that. It's like you become the expert, and you also give them a way to think about real estate they never thought about real estate before. Most people just look at it as a home. This is what I need today. They have emotional connection, and they don't think about it as they paid $100,000 today. In 30 years, it's going to be worth $300,000. They just don't think that way. In general, they don't. In that $100,000 house can cash flow me $200 a month if I just go buy another house, and they just don't think that way. So it's another way for you to add credibility with the people you're working with. All right, I'm gonna do one last thing, agent scenarios, unless y'all had any questions on it. Considering rent value when buying. I moved pretty quick. Actually, before agent scenarios, I'm gonna do what Manny brought up because I will forget if I don't bring it up. I am looking at doing a Christmas party this year. I'm gonna do it at my house. So we live in Flower Mound. I'm going to be putting together invites and all that stuff. The target date is December 7th, which is a Wednesday. It's for you and I'll be PC like James, right? Your significant other.
I'll be newlywed at that time.
Yeah, well, I say significant other in a neutral way, but you actually have a female you're marrying, your life partner, we'll call it. I don't even want to say that. Your spouse, your future spouse. So, but no, it's for everyone, you and someone else. It's not a kid event. My kids will be probably with a babysitter or upstairs sleeping, and no problem. They can sleep through all this. My downstairs we use for our living space, entertaining, and all that stuff. So we're going to be doing it at my house and working on negotiating with a caterer right now. And I like to do white elephant. If you guys have never done that, it's super fun where you guys have a budget. We all agree to a budget where I don't know if it's $20 or $30. I don't quite know what it is. I might even assign the budget, not even ask you. I don't know yet, but it's something that is affordable for all of us. And you find something that's fun. It can be a gag gift. It can be entertaining. It could be serious if it's sentimental or something to you. But it's normally fun when it's, or something that's like, wow, you got that for that price. That normally creates a lot of steals and jealousy and fun events when you do these things. So if you've never done one, I've done them lots of times with youth groups and past TruWest when I was an independent broker, lots of fun. So doing it at my house, I usually like to do it early in December because I don't want to compete with other Christmas parties. And I am calling it a Christmas party, and maybe some of you might be offended, but I call it Christmas. And I think that was the only thing I've got so far. So look for an invite, unless y'all have questions on it. Informal dress, we're not going to the nines. We're gonna have some fun and probably have cigars in the back. I have a beautiful back area that overlooks a creek, and I like to smoke cigars and probably do whiskey. Oh, I will have alcohol. I have worked out a deal for that as well. So we'll have that available too. So we're gonna make it fun.
Sounds good.
All right, last thing, agent scenarios. Weston actually had a couple of them yesterday. I thought they would be fun. Once you,
All right. Yeah, I wrote an offer over the weekend, and basically the property had foundation issues, and they had an engineering report showing that it needed about $6,700 in repairs. And I didn't realize when I wrote the offer they were only taking cash offers, but we were writing conventional. The listing agent had called me and she goes, "We really like your offer, but can I talk to the lender to see if they could finance it with the foundation issues?" Well, the lender that they were working with said no. And so I called another lender, and he said they still couldn't finance it, but they could have the sellers make the repairs and then pay them at closing. And our offer was initially $6,000 over ask price. So I called the listing agent back and I was like, well, if the sellers can pay it at closing and we're pretty much going to be like come back out at list price after the repairs are made with what we went over, would that be something your sellers are okay with? She doesn't call them. So basically we're in the middle of working that out now, but it was just finding a lender that maybe not found the exact solution, but found another solution to move the deal forward. So that's where we're at with that. And then do you want me to talk about Fernando?
Stick with that one.
Okay.
you got to coordinate the sound and everything in here. So it's a good question. The MLS has listing of the repairs. Is it foundation or engineer report? The foundation company or engineer report? You said engineer report just then.
Right.
Well, it could be, no, they could be different. Is it?
But there's an estimate, and
Yeah.
then it shows like what you read we're looking at.
Okay, I have a feeling it's a foundation company that came out and looked at it. They probably didn't hire an engineer, which means that it's an opinion. You guys may not know that, but this is just an opinion. I can have a guy, 3 roofers, and one says replace it, the other 2 says I can repair it. I don't live and die by what a contractor tells me that repairs are done. They have that, and it's not even a disclosure issue. That's a whole different conversation. But what I told Weston is we can offer to make the offer with the exact amount of concessions and the amount that guy said it's going to take to fix it, go forward with it. And the one that gets it flagged is the appraiser. Inspections do not go to lenders. Nothing else goes to lender. If they have it posted on the MLS and they're, identified that way and the lender actually sees that, then they may have to bring it into the transaction and make it a part of closing. If they don't, then we can avoid all of that. And then the appraiser will go out. Appraisers do look for rise over run on FHA deals. I don't think they normally do on conventional, but if the appraiser flags it, then we've got to address the foundation. Then the seller can get it completed. And then they have 2 choices. They can pay cash and complete, or they can work it out with a contractor and pay it at closing and funding, out of their proceeds. But my offer to them is like, hey, we will set aside enough money in our offer and we'll do the repairs ourselves after closing and funding, apart from the lender flagging it. So that's the way I recommended Weston offer it, and they're still negotiating with them. But it gives them the ability to get it completed at no cost to themselves. If an engineer goes out and does it and identifies problems, then we have a different problem. But a foundation company, I can have 3 of them, and every one of them will be 5,000 apart different. I mean, it won't even be close, because they all have opinions on what they believe is work. And a lot of them are focused on leveling, and that's not really what the objective on a foundation company is, to provide structural rigidity to the home, not just make it perfectly level, because no homes are perfectly level. So understand that there's a lot of gray in what they come up with. And if you have these problems, call me. I'll walk you through it. I'll objectify it, and I'll give you a plan that will make sense. Yeah, we're at the end of our time. We'll do the other one later. Any questions on that particular issue, or if anyone else has an agent scenario they want to bring up? All right, only thing I've got left, I still have Parlay in Dallas, 455,000, and I have my 2 new builds. It does not look like I'm going to have Mesquite ready this week. Sorry, Manny, we're close. We're not quite there. Very close, but it'll be end of this week, early next week before we can get staged and ready to go. So that's all I got for this week. You guys have a high performance week, and we will see each other next Tuesday. Look for the invite possibly before then. All right, thank you guys.
Thank you.